Hey folks, today I'm going to talk about my Perception Access 11.5 sit-on top kayak. I've had this thing about 2 years, so I feel very comfortable giving an honest review on it. Pros, cons, and share some clips on the water. Uh, Funny thing, over the 2 years, the one thing I was always really curious about was, could I stand up and fish on it? Well, you can stand up on it, but you can't really sit down. Other than that, I love it. It's a great kayak. I don't know if I'm going to keep it long term because I'm kind of thinking about the new Hobie Passport 10.5, a little bit wider. You can definitely stand and fish and sit down, and it's got the pedal drive so you can cover more ground. So let me pull the boat over, talk about my mods, talk about what's good about it, and talk about what's not so good about it. "11.5 feet long, sit on top, 31 inches wide, yeah, 31, and about 50 pounds, meaning you can carry it. It's a little bit awkward because it's long, but it's definitely carryable. It's got, if you've got two folks, it's super portable because you got the molded in carry handles in the front and the back. It's got scupper holes, 6 of them. The scupper plugs I bought on Amazon. It's got this molded in seat. What were my mods? All right, let's go from the front. I added this. It doesn't come with the front storage. It's very straightforward to install. I think 20 something bucks, Amazon or eBay. Cut a hole with a jigsaw, skill saw. I can never get it right. Mount it according to instruction. Use some goop glue. Let me show you what the inside of the hull looks like. Okay. I then added Scotty transducer holder and Scotty fish mount holder using rivets. Some not Velcro, but the heavy-duty latch tape to put on the bottom of my 5-amp battery. I added an anchor trolley. Added a bunch of pad eyes to clip my rod to, and also my paddle. These are for an additional aftermarket seat I put on. What else? Oh, rod holder. So I didn't do a ton of mods to it. This beast here. This is for some cheap knockoff, no-name brand rod holder. Had it a couple times. I hated it because it would just spin aimlessly left and right, and it was stupid. So what I did is I took this cup thing, cut a hole, and here's what I put my multi-tools and my fish scale and whatever else I got in there. Hold my drinks here, hold some lures here. Can also put some lures in there as well. It does come with a pretty much a dry bag, but I wouldn't say it's completely waterproof, but it's a nice feature. And it's got these it's got those rod holders. The length to width ratio is quite narrow for a sit on top kayak of this length. Most of them you'll find are like 33, 34 inches long, which means that it tracks very straight, and it's surprisingly fast for a sit on top. I mean, surprisingly fast. It's about as fast as a similarly sized sit inside, which is great for covering a lot of ground. The cons of the narrow width is that it is stable. Don't get me wrong; it's a very stable boat. And even when I took a dunk, right, in the video, the boat still stayed upright. But it's not stable enough that you can stand up in it and sit back down. Plus the might be hard to see here, but this has got a good amount of flex. Yeah, look at that. Even though it's roto-milled, it's got a good amount of flex, so it's not an option to stand up. This seat may be okay if you're going to spend 2 hours out in the water, but I've spent easy 7-8 hours on this for multiple days over the last 2 years. It is brutally uncomfortable. So I just bought this Harmony style seat, and basically you clip it in place and voila, it is, you've got comfort for hours. Totally doable, totally doable. Other pros. Well, let me go with some more cons. Even though it is very straight, fast, tracks incredibly well. Part of the reason it tracks so well is because it's got this integrated skeg, that, and the multi-shine hull. It's got this cool drag plate right there. When you're tired and don't want to pick it up and you just want to drag it on the ground, go for it. It works really well. It fits inside a Dodge Caravan minivan. I used to have a Honda Odyssey, an older one, a 2005. It fit inside that too. Cons: these rod holders suck. I have lost a rod. In fact, that's part of the reason I stood in my kayak, because previous to me attempting to stand up, I had a rod pulled over the side by a schoolie striper, about 4 pounds, in an estuary about 4 feet, well, it looked like it was 2 or 3 feet deep, and I wanted my rod back. So I dove in, got my rod. It wasn't 2 feet deep, it was more like 4 feet deep, and it was like a foot of mud in the back too. So anyways, I figured I'm soaked, I'm comfortable. I always wanted to try standing up, and I know how deep the water is, so I gave it a try. Put that in. Awesome. Oh, I love it. So I would not stand up. And an Axis 3. But anyways, back to the point. These rod holders suck like it is. So what you do is you've got to either buy an add-on, like a tube or something like that, or just get some PVC. What you see here is 2 diameters, one slightly narrower than the outer one, and I just wrap it with some duct tape and I had some foam in there. Twist that into the rod holder, and you've got plenty of space to put a 6.5 is the biggest that I use when I kayak. 6.5 foot rod with no worry about it falling out. So that's something you have to do if you have good gear and you don't want to lose it. And I guess the other thing is that for the price point, which is, I think they usually go for about $440, $450. Sometimes I've seen as high as $500, which I wouldn't buy it for $500. Sometimes you'll see them as low as $370, $360, which is what I got mine for on Amazon. What I do with Amazon, you probably do too, is just save your items to a shopping list and check it every day. Sometimes what happens is these online retailers, they use software algorithms and price something lower for whatever given reason. It could just be a bug, or it just could be that they see that it's extra inventory or who knows what. But you can find some massive price drops. That's how I got my $150 trolling motor for $75 on Walmart. And then immediately the next day the price corrected itself. It must have been a mistake that they posted it that way. But anyways, I got this for like $350. for its price point, you can comfortably get out on bigger water, bigger freshwater, and I feel very, very, very comfortable to sit on top. And it's a pretty tall deck going out saltwater brackish estuaries, bays. There we go. Ah, oh, no. Nice. But again, bays, protected saltwater bodies, I feel like this is a great entry into it. And if that's all you ever want to do, then you're probably fine with this. For me, I want to do a little bit more. I want to try to get a little bit deeper and catch bigger fish.